Hi, this is Eladi Verma, and you're watching me on Darchi Talks. But with time, I got more confident and comfortable in myself and my story. And then I started putting those out. Oh, I want to put it through my clothes. And now it's obviously, I love talking. So I am big on silhouettes. I like shapes. That's why I was really into saris. I love silhouettes. So I was the first face of transgender experience for Zivame. Anything and everything that I do is going to be a statement. Choice, when you make it with dignity, I think that is the real luxury. So, because there are a lot of young Ellas who need to see somebody like that.
Yeah,
Fashion is there are no rules.
there are no rules.
बहुत LRD वर्मा बन रही है.
Hi Ella, welcome to Darji Talks.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, how are you feeling today?
I'm really good. I'm flying back home today, so I'm so excited to be home.
Oh my god, let's go. Nice. So for our listeners who might not know you, so take us through your journey and how you got into fashion and everything.
Right. Hi everyone, I'm Eladi Verma. I'm a 21-year-old woman of transgender experience, and my social media journey started in lockdown, like it did for a lot of people, because a lot of us were bored and we got on our phones. Initially, I used to post makeup looks. I didn't talk on social media for the longest time because I was insecure about having a deeper voice. But with time, I got more confident and comfortable in myself and my story, and then I started putting those out. It started with telling stories about my transition. And I had this series called Growing Up Transgender, which I put out on YouTube. And that was the time where I felt like the audience had a personal connect to me because I was, more than just a picture or a pretty face. I was a person to them. And I feel like my story was one that resonated with a lot of people. And that's how it all started.
Yeah, makes sense. So like would have been like different growing up. Like how was your childhood? Especially like you said you were into theater when you were in school. So how was that experience for you?
See, I feel like childhood, so much of it, I realize now that things were wrong, but when you're in it, you don't even realize.
Yeah.
It sort of becomes your normal. So I feel like I got very lucky in terms of my family. I had a good home, good people, where love was the baseline. So a lot of the times, even if there was, bullying at school or name calling, I knew I was going back to loving parents. So I was fine for the longest bit. And like I said, the theater and the being on stage, that was sort of giving me the validation जो maybe I wasn't getting from my peers. It was like कि ठीक है, I can't be everybody's friend. I can't be the coolest kid, but at least I have this certificate or I have this award. So it was like, it was also survival in a way. So I feel like, I have my ups and I have my downs, but generally, if I have to say, I think I did have a nice childhood. I was exposed to a lot of opportunities as well. My teachers were really fond of me, so they brought about a lot of co-curricular opportunities. And those I feel like have such a major role in shaping who I am today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. Your Instagram is full of bold visuals and honest storytelling. So how do you approach creating content?
Honestly, it started off as just expression. I feel like I used to do art in school as well. I was a painter.
Wow.
And I feel like as any artist is, for me, it wasn't about creating, it was more about expressing. It was, I have to do it. I don't want to do it. So it's like if I feel something, I have to get it out, and the medium keeps changing. So, shuru mein it might have been makeup. I feel something and I put it into a makeup look. And then it could have been fashion. You're like, oh, I want to put it through my clothes. And now it's obviously, I love talking. So,
Yeah.
now it's like if I'm feeling something, I'll make a video about it. I'll have an interview or something. So, it's really more so like a digital journal of sorts where I put who I am and what I'm feeling out, and I put an artistic twist on it. So for me, it's a digital diary.
Amazing. That's so good. So what's about your style? How do you style yourself? And mostly how do you conceptualize the shoots that you do? So what is the thought behind it and how do you like guide me to the process?
See, there is really no process. I wish I was more calm and collected and organized. It's literally like रात को 3 बजे idea आया and then you pull out your ring lights and then you get going.
Yeah.
So there is really no structure. As far as my personal style is concerned, I am big on silhouettes. I like shapes. That's why I was really into saris because I feel like they give you so much freedom. You can drape them however you want and you can sculpt your body in a way that feels comfortable. And obviously, being transgender, um, there are a lot of things that I'm not necessarily comfortable with about my body. So when I do style myself, I'm very particular in that sense. I don't let anyone do my makeup because I feel very like, I know my face, I want to do it my way. So as much as there's creative liberty, there's also thoda sa restraint in terms of, wanting to feel comfortable in my skin. But as far as my personal style is concerned, I'll say it's very clean, based on, silhouettes. I love silhouettes.
Yeah, makes sense. Any particular photo shoot or campaign that, made you feel more, you know, great and like, just seen?
Yeah, so I mean, you saw I was just touching up before the shoot. I was using the K Beauty lip liner.
Yeah.
I always tell this story. So when I first started doing social media and first started using makeup, I had this Chotu Si kit, and that lip liner has always been there. So it's like a very wholesome moment to then go around and work with a brand that I genuinely love, and it was a part of my beginning.
Oh yeah.
So I think those moments are really special where it's like, oh, when I had nothing, I used to use these brands and now I'm working with them. So it's like, oh, like life has come full
Full
circle.
circle. Yeah, makes sense. So, so you have made history as, being the first face of transgender being and for lingerie, right? So, how did that experience shape you?
So I was the first face of transgender experience for Zivame.
Yeah.
And that was, it was, I feel like I didn't even realize how great it was when it was happening. I was more excited by the fact that, oh, there's a work opportunity and oh my God, I'm going to get paid. And it was really exciting. But now I understand the gravity of it. Now I understand, the importance of putting people like me in places, especially in the mainstream, because it is a statement.
Yeah,
The
it is.
thing is, ki, even though I'm just a normal person, the way the political and the social climate of the world is, anything and everything that I do is going to be a statement, is going to be political. So I think I have to really give it to the brands that are, being strong enough to put me in positions, even though it can come with backlash. So I think now I realize how great of a move that was. And at the end of the day, like, everybody wears lingerie, so why not?
Why not? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, makes sense. So, in your review, what is luxury today?
Luxury today,
Yeah.
I think luxury is choice. Honestly, I feel like I did think about this in terms of my work also, because I come from, I don't come from money, I don't come from poverty, but I don't come from money.
Yeah.
So when I did start working, I have to make money, I have to make money was a constant ringing. Matlab, I had to do it. And us time pe it was like, jo bhi aayega, I'll say yes to it. Every opportunity felt like the last opportunity. If a brand was being, difficult, I was like, let's just deal with it because I have to take money from them. If somebody was being disrespectful, I was like, let's just, do it because I have to get paid. I have to make my money. But now in a more stable position, I feel like I have more, I have the luxury of choice. Now is a time in my life where I'm actually saying no to things. Otherwise, it was like, okay, yes, 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 everything I can do, I want to do, whether I believe in it or not, whether it's good for me or not. I feel like being able to come from a place of choice, and choice when you make it with dignity, I think that is the real luxury.
Yeah, makes sense. That is so true. And as you said that, saying no to certain things might be very difficult in the start, but I think now that you have that privilege, I think it's fine. It's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. So basically, is luxury in India for you, according to you, is being inclusive enough, like in terms of Indian fashion and Indian luxury?
I mean, I see so many of my queer friends modeling for, big labels. And a lot of the labels are owned by queer people themselves. So I feel like if anything compared to the rest of the world, I feel like India is where the most, space and scope for inclusivity makes sense, because we are inherently by nature and the grace of this land, we are inherently very diverse. So even in terms of, if you take out the people, even if you look at just let's stick with the sector of garments,
Yeah.
there is no one garment that you can associate to India. You have everything,
Everything.
every color, every fabric. So I think diversity is the very nature of our being. So it only makes sense that it is, in places of luxury as well. Me personally, I think we're doing a great job. Obviously, there's scope for improvement, and we have to understand that everything is decided by a lot of powerful people. Like, who's gonna walk in a show? Who's gonna be the face of a campaign? If I'm the designer, I don't get to choose that. There's a lot of other influences also. You have to think about, the political climate of the world, what's happening in the country. Like, there's a lot of other instances also, but I think it's definitely, going towards betterment.
Betterment. Yeah, makes sense. So, fashion often markets exclusivity. Um, Yet your journey is about belonging and representation. So, how do you reconcile with your own ideas and work style?
As far as my content and my style is concerned, I feel like it is my life, it is my story. And so I'm not becoming something. I'm not competing with anything because when it's my life story, it never runs out. First of all,
Yeah.
it's like me personally, if I had to, let's say, be a comic, at some point, knowing me, I will run out of jokes. If I had to be a fashion creator, at some point, I will run out of outfits. But my life, like as long as I'm here, life is ever changing, ever evolving. So I feel like that is what gives me an edge. And like I am like a ever evolving being. So the stories never run out, the learnings never run out. So I think that's what gives me the edge. I also have a certain way of saying things that I feel like just people resonate with. I don't know what it is, but people are able to relate to me. I think that was the entire pull with my journey as well. Ki, not just the LGBT community, but people from all genders, all places, all shapes were able to relate because I feel like on some level we're all struggling the same.
Yeah.
When I'm talking about not feeling like belonging, that's something that's not exclusive to LGBT. So many people are made to feel different or less than or discriminated against. So I feel like people resonated in my story, regardless of their orientation. So I feel like that's what gave me an edge.
Yeah. So, how important is community building for you?
Very much so. I think as antisocial as I am, I'm not in terms of community building. I'm not big on going out and networking and finding people. But I would hope that the content I put out and me putting myself in a vulnerable position where I do speak about my story and my life and the things that I've been through, I hope it resonates with people because the thing about, especially if I'm talking about the transgender community, a lot of people who are transgender have never heard or seen of anyone who's like us.
Yeah.
Our exposure and our information about transgender people is very limited. So as far as community building is concerned, I emphasize heavily on, being loud about your stories. If you are in a position like me where it's safe to talk about your journey, I think it becomes a responsibility also because there are a lot of young Ellas who need to see somebody like that.
Yeah. But ever happened that, you put up something and you feel like, oh my God, did I just overshare? And then there are comments that, just tell you that, oh my God, this is amazing. I can relate to this. That maybe makes that post more that, yeah, I couldn't have posted anything better than this. Maybe I thought that
Yeah.
this was something. But did you ever feel like that?
Yeah, so I mean, of course, there are things that are personal that I've talked about. I've talked about a lot of hardships, and I was like, oh my God, did I share too much? But at the end of the day, like, I don't think it even needs to necessarily be a lot of people. If I read one comment where it was like, oh my God, you just perfectly explained what I was feeling, or like,
Yeah.
oh my God, now I have a perspective about what I was going through.
Yeah.
I think that is good enough for me to not feel bad about oversharing.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so we have some fun questions.
All right.
Yeah. So, what's one fashion rule that you secretly love breaking?
I think the one rule that I love breaking is that there are no rules. Like because when I started out, you have to understand when you change your gender, that means your entire wardrobe also gets changed.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't come from money. So how do you go from an entirely male to a female wardrobe? So initially when I didn't have a lot of female clothes, I used to take dupattas and I used to make blouses out of them. I would wear a plazo and I would do it in a way where it would look like a dhoti. So I really think the only rule to fashion is there are no rules.
There are no rules. Yeah, makes sense. If you could raid anyone's closet from past, present, who would it be?
Marilyn Monroe. I would take all those dresses.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Iconic. Is there a piece in your wardrobe that feels like your lucky charm or like an armor?
Any sari. I feel my best in saris.
Yeah. Nice. And describe your dream runaway, like runway show. Sorry, the location, music, or the mood.
Honestly, any. I struggle with runways because I am a pageant girl, so I have a lot of personality in my walk. So I've done a few runways, but I'm not there. But honestly, I don't have a particular design. I would love to do it for anyone.
Yeah. Okay. So, like any recent runways that you have seen or any designer.
Honestly, I love, okay, like I said, the pageant comes in, but any Michael Cinco design, the gowns, the silhouettes that man does is like fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Perfect. Okay. So, have you experienced both celebration and tokenism? So, like, what's one thing you wish Indian fashion or luxury industry would change right now?
See, I think tokenism is something it's not going away. And it's not something that's exclusively limited to transgender people. I think Women's Day पे सबको women की याद आती है, and like ठीक है, like everybody has their own thing. But what I think we can do on a personal level is make sure that tokenism it works in our favor. So I feel like to anyone who's starting out, especially people of the community, I always tell them ki, like it's fine. You don't have to intellectualize it. Get your point, do your work, and like move on with it. Because at the end of the day, if somebody is gonna earn from your community, it might as well be the community. So it's that's how I feel about it. I feel like it's not going anywhere. It's sad, yeah, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's also an opportunity because theek hai, the brands did not notice me until June came around. Now it's an opportunity for me. If I work with a brand, I will give them such amazing results that they cannot forget me when June is gone.
Yeah.
So they keep coming.
They'll
So
keep
I think tokenism, you can turn it into an opportunity as well.
Yeah. And obviously, when you have your own style, your own voice, anyone would come back.
Right.
So I feel like that is most important. Is there a moment where you felt your work was truly seen for its artistry and not just politics?
I don't think there was a specific moment, but I will say this: like when I do podcasts and interviews, um, like right now you're asking me a lot of questions about my work, about this, like how do you feel about this? The conversation initially in a lot of my interviews used to be like, tell us your struggle story, tell us this, tell us that. It was very, I felt like nobody wanted to hear anything except for the sad part of my story.
Yeah.
So I feel like now there's a general shift in the narrative that is presented, and I'm shown as a person that is like an accumulation of ठीक है, my gender and my past, but also my achievements and my body of work. So I think that was really exciting when I became more than just Rona Dhona.
Yeah, makes sense. Because sometimes, people cash on it.
Right.
And that is something that is completely, I feel like it's completely wrong.
Yeah.
But when you are seen for your own work, I think that would, it makes sense. Yeah. What do you hope your legacy in fashion and luxury will be?
Oh, honestly, I hope whatever it is, I always say this, I hope I'm remembered as an adjective. Like I don't want to be a person. I want to be like a standard. Like लोग एक दूसरे को बोले कि like बहुत LRD वर्मा बन रही है. Like I hope I do something great enough to become an adjective.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so good. So if you could create your own brand or like a collection, what would it be? What would its ethos also be?
I think it would be, something I would love, like I said, to play around with silhouettes. Because, as transgender people, I think we are hyper aware of our bodies and our proportions. And I love playing with those. I love things I will, add volume where I want volume, take away volume where I want to take away volume. So I think it would be something really, structural, and it would definitely be a play on silhouettes.
Yeah. Okay. So will there be saris in it?
Possibly. Who knows? You will know when it's there.
Yeah. So anything coming up soon that we should look out for you?
I'm planning, okay, I can't give you too many details, but I am working with, a group of brands and coming out with a line. I am struggling with how much creative liberty I will have, but of course, I want to put in the elements that I just mentioned because as much as I am passionate about it, I also recognize that there is a need. Like the simple fact that you're slightly taller, and I like wearing heels also on top of that. So most of my jeans just end here.
Yeah.
So small things like that, just like a longer jean leg. So it would be the first thing I do, I can tell you this much, it's gonna be very solution oriented.
Yeah, problem solving. Yeah. Yeah. Because fashion right now I feel lacks problem solving.
Right.
It's just about what looks good on you. But what about like the small issues that we have
Right.
in regular days? Yeah. Makes sense. So how much is authenticity important for you when you create content and when you put it out there?
I mean, it is my story. There is no scope for not being authentic because it is my story. And it is a very important part of who I am. And like I said, it is a luxury now. So even when I used to do brand deals in the beginning, let's say for example, a brand has sent in a script and I feel like this is not what I sound like. लोगों को देखते ही समझ आ जाएगा कि somebody has handed me a script and said कि बोलो.
Well,
But no, that kind of creative control and liberty is something that I've earned with time. And so it was always important for me, but I was not always in a position to be able to have it. But that is something that comes in now, even especially when I'm doing paid work. I love to make sure that I, have control over the script, the things that I'm saying. I'm not making false claims. Do I genuinely believe in the product? So I feel like that claim of authenticity I have now.
Yeah. So one question that everyone in our team also wanted to ask is that what made you be like come here on this podcast or maybe on the cover of our magazine? Like what made you, because we are a small magazine, what made you be like, yeah, I want to be there?
Honestly, I took a scroll through your page and visually I was very intrigued. I like the covers that you've done. And I really like the passion at the end of the day because a lot of people, when they're just starting out, I think they get intimidated and they hold themselves back.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Ki, theek hai, we're only going to reach to a certain demographic because we are a small publication and we won't reach out to this demographic." But I like that you guys reached out to me and I had a conversation with my team. And at the end of the day, I feel like it's sort of paying it forward because somebody believed in me. And at the end of the day, like, this is, this serves my purpose. This serves my things that I have an agency for. So I do not like saying no to PR opportunities because I know that this story, especially mine and my experiences, are important. And I feel like it enters a space of, fashion where inclusivity and stories like mine are even more necessary. So it was a no-brainer for me.
Okay. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Is there any advice that you want to give to the young people, especially those who feel like outsiders and who want to make their own fashion and content creation?
I think don't take life too seriously. I feel like I spend so much time thinking about how to be better at things, how to be perfect. And when you especially get into content creation, don't wait to get that picture perfect or don't wait to get that video perfect. Post it out there because you are your hardest critic. And I think most people who are creators will know you will work really hard on a video. You will post it, it won't do well. And you will post a video where it took like ऐसे 10-15 minutes में तुमने shoot करके डाल दिया and then those are the ones that the audience loves. So it's like don't miss out on the opportunity just because you feel like you're not ready for it. You can learn on the job. So don't take it too seriously.
Thank you so much for joining us over here. It was amazing to have you listen to your story and how you see fashion and how you represent fashion. It was so lovely to have you.
Thank you.
This is a hamper for you by Old Money.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So this is sponsored by Old Money. It is a perfume brand and do check it out.
Lahore money.
Let's go. Thank you for joining us on Darji Talks. If today's conversation made you question, reflect, and see yourself and fashion in another lens, then we have done our job. If you found value in this dialogue, then please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find more behind the scenes through our social media. The latest edition is now live on the website. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and keep redefining luxury as you may. This is Yashi Thanki signing off.